本日はご多忙の中、ご来場いただきありがとうございます。司会を務めます南西地域産業活性化センターの樋口と申します。これより地域外交シンポジウムアジア太平洋地域の緊張緩和と信頼醸成における地域外交の役割を開催いたします。本シンポジウムは沖縄県知事公室平和地域外交推進課が主管するアジア太平洋地域平和連携推進事業の一環として開催されます。本日はこの後、玉城知事による開会の挨拶、ビデオメッセージによるご祝辞、その後、事業の成果報告を行います。引き続き、第一部として、外務省沖縄事務所特命全権大使沖縄担当の宮川学様より基調講演を頂戴いたします。その後、休憩を挟み、第2部パネルディスカッションを行います。まず、開会の挨拶を沖縄県知事の玉城デニーより行います。玉城知事、ステージにご登壇のほどお願いいたします。皆様、大きな拍手で知事をお迎えください。
ハリサイグスーヨーチューガナビラ、皆さんこんにちは。沖縄県知事の玉城デニーです。本日はシンポジウムアジア太平洋地域の緊張緩和と信頼醸成における地域外交の役割にお集まりいただき、心から感謝申し上げます。本日のシンポジウムでは、韓国から北東アジア地域自治体連合ニアのイム事務総長よりビデオメッセージにてご祝辞を賜りますとともに、第一部においては外務省特命全権大使沖縄担当の宮川学様より世界とアジアの中の沖縄と日本外交を演題とした基調講演を行っていただきます。また第2部ではオーストラリアアデレード大学名誉教授のプルネンドラ・ジェイン様、台湾円形基金会執行長のライ・イーチャン様、インドネシア平和民主主義研究所所長のクトゥトゥ・プトラ・エラワン様、早稲田大学国際教養学部教授であり、中国出身の周民様、同じく早稲田大学国際教養学部教授の上杉裕二様によりますパネルディスカッションを実施し、アジア太平洋地域の有識者が一つのテーブルに集い、活発な議論を展開する貴重な機会をいただくこととなっております。ご祝辞並びにご登壇をいただく皆様におかれましては、ご多忙にもかかわらず、沖縄県の取り組みにご理解とご協力を賜り、厚く御礼を申し上げます。さて、昨今、世界ではロシアによるウクライナ侵攻に加え、ガザ地区など一般住民を巻き込んだ紛争が現実に起こっており、悲惨な状況の地域が存在しています。このような状況に置かれた市民が一日も早く平穏な生活を取り戻すことが重要であると考えております。また、沖縄県を取り巻くアジア太平洋地域の情勢についても、軍事的な安全保障面での緊張関係と経済面での緊密な結びつきが見られるなど、一層複雑さを増しているものと認識しております。このような状況下において、沖縄県では政府に対して平和的な外交、対話による緊張緩和、信頼醸成の取り組みを求めるとともに、沖縄県も積極的に幅広い分野で海外の自治体や民間団体と交流・連携することにより、地域の平和と持続的な発展に貢献したいと考えております。そのため、沖縄独自の自然、歴史、伝統文化など、いわゆるソフトパワーや県警人ネットワークをはじめ、さまざまな分野において培ってきた国際ネットワークなどを活用し、アジア太平洋地域の平和構築と総合発展に貢献する地域外交に取り組んでまいります。沖縄県の地域外交は、 多様な考え方や事情を有する海外の国、地域に対し、どちらかの国や地域に偏ることなく、すべての相手方と対話や交流、協力活動などの平和的な手法で信頼関係の構築を図るものであります。本日は地域外交の意義や展望、今後の取り組みに関するご提案など、忌憚のないご意見をいただけるものと期待しており、私も大いに参考にさせていただきたいと考えております。今年2025年は沖縄戦終結から80年の節目を迎えます。県民すべての願いである二度と沖縄を戦場にしてはならないという思いは、平和を希求する沖縄の心として今日まで受け継がれています。沖縄県では戦後80周年平和記念事業歌唱を通じて、これまでの歴史を振り返り、先の大戦の犠牲者を追悼するとともに、次世代を担う若者をはじめ、多くの県民の平和を考える機会の創出に取り組んでまいります。皆様のご理解とご協力を賜りますよう、どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。それでは本日のシンポジウムが皆様の活動にとっても有意義なものとなることを記念いたしまして、私の挨拶とさせていただきます。令和7年2月1日、沖縄県知事玉城デニー、一平二平デービル、ありがとうございました。
玉城知事、ありがとうございました。続いて、昨年から沖縄県がオブザーバー参加しております都市間連携プラットフォームである北東アジア地域自治体連合、通称ニアの事務総長、イム・ビョンジン様よりご祝辞のビデオメッセージをいただいております。
Honorable Governor Denny Tamaki and distinguished guests, good afternoon. I'm Lim Byung-jin, Secretary General of the Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere congratulations to Okinawa Prefecture for hosting the 2025 Subnational Diplomacy Symposium under the theme, The Role of Subnational Diplomacy in Easing Tensions and Building Trust in the Asia-Pacific region. I'm truly delighted to have this opportunity to convey my congratulatory message at this event. In recent years, the global landscape has been shifting toward an era of conflict, characterized by intensifying competition and confrontation rather than cooperation and coexistence. Against this backdrop, today's Subnational Diplomacy Symposium is a particularly timely event, serving as a key platform to ease tensions and build trust in the Asia-Pacific region. Okinawa Prefecture, with its 450-year history as the Ryukyu Kingdom, enjoyed a period of prosperity through active trade with neighboring countries. Today, it continues to foster extensive exchange and cooperation with various countries and regions worldwide. Additionally, as a region that has a painful history of massive sacrifice and sufferings of its residents during the World War II, Okinawa is globally recognized as the island of peace, upholding the value of exchange, cooperation, and peace as the guiding principles of subnational diplomacy, values that align perfectly with NEAR's vision. The Association of Northeast Asia Regional Governments, or NEAR, established in 1996, is an international organization for multilateral exchange with 82 regular member governments of 6 countries: China, Japan, South Korea, Mongolia, Russia, and North Korea. Additionally, NEAR has 2 associate members from Southeast Asia and Central Asia, 1 special member, and 5 observers, covering a total of 90 regional governments of 8 countries. This makes NEAR the largest multilateral exchange platform among regional governments in Northeast Asia. Recently, NEAR has experienced not only quantitative growth through the expansion of its membership, but also qualitative growth, with 40 to 50 member governments regularly participating in each of our events. This has further invigorated our platform and enhanced NEAR's status and influence on international stage. Since joining NEAR as an observer in 2024, Okinawa Prefecture has actively participated in numerous NEAR's events, engaging in both multilateral and bilateral exchange and contributing to the development of NEAR. I want to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to Okinawa Prefecture for its dedication and support. And I sincerely hope to see Okinawa join us as a regular member in the near future. In the coming years, the NEAR Secretariat will continue to work closely with the Okinawa Prefectural Government. Once again, I extend my deep appreciation to Governor Denny Tamaki and the officials of Okinawa Prefecture for organizing this significant event. And I wish all the best and success to every participant today. Thank you.
以上、北東アジア地域自治体連合の事務総長のイム・ビョンジン様よりご祝辞を頂戴いたしました。続きまして、沖縄県知事公室平和地域外交推進課長の玉本光一郎より、沖縄県が3年間実施してまいりましたアジア太平洋地域平和連携推進事業の成果と地域外交についてご報告をいたします。
ありがとうございます。皆様こんにちは。沖縄県平和地域外交推進課の課長の玉本と申します。本日はシンポジウムにお集まりいただきありがとうございます。本日のシンポジウムは沖縄県で実施しておりますアジア太平洋地域平和連携推進事業という事業の一環で開催をさせていただいております。皆様の貴重な時間を頂戴し、大変恐縮ではございますが、本事業の成果について報告したいと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。本日の内容は、事業5つございまして、事業の概要、そしてこれまでの調査内容、沖縄県地域外交基本方針、今年度の取り組み、最後に目指す姿についてお話ししたいと思います。まず1つ目、事業の概要でございます。アジア太平洋地域平和連携推進事業は、復帰50周年事業として、令和4年度にスタートをし、今年度が3年目の、計画上は最終年度となります。沖縄県は琉球王国時代にアジアの国々との交易を通して、人と文化の架け橋、すなわち万国津梁を目指してきた歴史や、日本本土と東アジアおよび東南アジアの中央に位置する地理的特性を生かして、沖縄県がアジア太平洋地域の緊張緩和と信頼醸成に取り組むことなどを目的としております。事業の主な内容としましては、まずはアジア太平洋地域における安全保障環境などの変化に伴う課題などを踏まえた沖縄との連携の方向性などについて、有識者等などへのヒアリング調査、そして各種分野における有識者会議の開催、そしてシンポジウムの開催という形になっております。これまで約150の有識者等へのヒアリングを実施し、多くのご意見やご提案をいただいております。また、シンポジウムにつきましては、2年前に交流、対話で作るアジア太平洋地域の平和と未来というテーマで開催をしております。本日のシンポジウムは、アジア太平洋地域の緊張緩和と信頼醸成における地域外交の役割をテーマとしております。これまでの有識者等へのヒアリング調査や、有識者会議、シンポジウムを実施する中で、沖縄県が地域外交に取り組む意義に関する意見として、いくつかご紹介したいと思います。 まず1つ目が、沖縄の平和を考えたときに、アジア全体の平和をどう考えるかという中で、対立関係を溶かしていくということが沖縄の役割であり、そういう場所になりうるというご意見です。また、本当の友情というものはよく相手を理解すること、深く理解することができてからこそ、世の中では平和に関する脅威が減っていくんだというようなご意見。そしてさらには、沖縄が克服してきた気候問題によるインフラ整備の困難さや、平和教育などの経験や技術が、アジア太平洋地域の気候的にも地理的にも似た地域で役に立っているなどのご意見をいただいております。他にも将来像や方向性に関する意見として、地域の書記官、研究者等のネットワークはトラック2の意味合いそのものを持っているなどのご意見を、多くのご意見をいただいております。そして、これまでの調査結果として、各国地域との連携案についてですね、ベトナム、カンボジア、フィリピンについては、博物館を通した連携構築がより実現性が高いと整理をしております。また、インドネシアについては、バリと沖縄で高齢化対策や気候変動などの対応など、地域社会の課題を協議するフォーラムの実施ですとか、台湾については、東シナ海の繁栄と安定のための共同イニシアチブなどが考えられるとしております。これら以外にも、大学間の連携、また災害・防災協力、観光人材の育成や交流、海外自治体との MOU 締結など、多くの連携案が提案されております。そして、このようなものから、連携可能性の高いものから取り組んでいきたいというふうに考えております。続きまして、調査結果などを踏まえて、沖縄県の取り組みについてご説明いたします。まず、沖縄県地域外交基本方針の策定でございます。沖縄県では、事業のヒアリング調査でつながりを持った国内の有識者などを委員として、沖縄県の地域外交に関する万国診療会議、これは有識者会議でございますが、これを設置し、沖縄県が取り組む地域外交についてのご提言をいただきました。その提言を踏まえ、沖縄県は地域外交基本方針を、昨年の3月ですね、に策定をしまして、その方針において、地域外交を展開することで、沖縄が国際平和創造拠点、グローバルビジネス競争拠点、国際協力貢献拠点の3つの拠点となることを目指していくことを掲げております。アジア太平洋地域に住む人々が、経済交流、文化交流、人材交流など、顔が見える交流事業を一つ一つ積み重ねていくことで、沖縄から地域の緊張緩和や信頼関係の構築につなげられるよう行動していくこととしております。次に今年度の取り組みとして、各国地域との連携案として実現性が高いと整理している博物館連携について、沖縄の平和記念資料館、そしてひめゆり平和記念資料館、ベトナムの戦争小石博物館、カンボジアのトゥールスレン虐殺博物館、フィリピンの日本フィリピン歴史資料館の館長などを委員とした有識者会議をオンラインで複数回開催しております。会議の中で各館からはそれぞれの地域の歴史を共有するために移動展を開催したいとの意見や、学芸員の人材交流を行いたいなどの意見が上がってきております。博物館連携については、次年度以降も今回構築したネットワークを生かして、連携の実現に向けた取り組みを推進してまいります。その他にも、沖縄県では、韓国チェジュ島で開催されるチェジュフォーラムに参加をし、地方自治体が地域外交で果たす役割などについて話し合うとともに、グローバル平和都市連帯に加盟し、平和ネットワークの拡大等に取り組んでおります。加えて、これまで積み重ねてきたチェジュ特別自治道との交流を踏まえ、2024年11月に、これは昨年の11月ですね、韓国チェジュ特別自治道と友好協力都市協定を締結いたしました。また、先ほどビデオメッセージをいただきました、ニア、これは北東アジア地域自治体連合のオブザーバー加入を行い、ニアの構成自治体とのネットワークを通じて、経済や環境、教育、人材など、幅広い分野で意見交換を行い、地域の平和構築と相互発展に貢献する活動を積み重ねることによって、沖縄の課題解決、そして地域外交の発展につなげていきたいと考えております。沖縄県は今後、 首脳クラスの国際会議の誘致や、国連などの国際機関などの県内誘致、先ほどご説明した北東アジア自治体連合、地域自治体連合ニアなどの国際的な自治体同士の連合組織への参画などを通じて、沖縄独自の地域外交の取り組みを発信してまいります。日本政府には、美しい自然と豊かな文化に彩られた沖縄を国際会議の開催地として、もっとさらにですね、活用していただきたいというふうに考えております。このように沖縄県では、沖縄独自の歴史的、文化的特性などのソフトパワーと、観光、経済、教育、文化、平和など、多様な分野で築いてきた連投悪党を最大限に活用し、アジア太平洋地域の平和構築と相互発展に向けて、積極的な地域外交を展開しています。この後、パネルディスカッションなどから得られます、地域外交に関するさまざまな知見などを参考にしながら、さらなる地域外交の推進に努めてまいりたいと考えております。また、本日お集まりの皆様におかれましても、地域外交が果たす役割などについて共に考えていただけたら、大変ありがたく感じます。以上で、関係質ではございますが、沖縄県からの報告を終了といたします。ご清聴どうもありがとうございました。
これまでの沖縄県の取り組みと成果をご報告させていただきました。これより第2部を開始いたします。第2部はオーストラリア、台湾、インドネシア、中国より有識者を招いてパネルディスカッションを行います。なお、台湾から参加されるライ・イーチャン博士はオンラインで登壇されます。本日のパネルディスカッションのテーマは、アジア太平洋地域の緊張緩和と信頼醸成における地域外交の役割となっております。コーディネーターを南西地域産業活性化センターの客員研究員であり、早稲田大学国際教養学部教授の上杉裕二が務めます。はい、それでは皆さん、拍手で登壇者をお迎えください。
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Yuji Uesugi. I normally teach at Waseda University in Tokyo. On this particular project, which was commissioned by the Okinawa Prefecture, I have been working with the Nansei Shoto Industrial Advancement Center to lead this expert panels, which is going to be presenting what we have discussed so far to you. I would like to ask each panelist to briefly introduce themselves first. First, I would like to ask Professor Jain, please.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. And I would like to thank the Okinawa Prefectural Government to invite me to this symposium. My name is Purnendra Jain. I am Indian background, living in Australia and working in Australia for the last more than 40 years. I have been professor of Asian Studies, specializing on Japan. And I have done some work on local diplomacy, which featured Japan, essentially. So my interest is quite deep in this particular area. I also want to mention that my institution in Australia is the University of Adelaide in South Australia. And I have been working with JICA, Ogata Research Institute, as a visiting research fellow, researching on Japan's ODA, that is foreign aid policy. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Dr. Lai from Taiwan. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thanks for the Okinawa Prefecture for having me here. My name is Yicheng Lai. I am the president of Prospect Foundation in Taiwan. Prospect Foundation is a national think tank of Taiwan. As for me personally, I was also a a city diplomacy practitioner for the Taiwan, second biggest city in Taiwan, that is the Taichung city. I was the external engagement directors there for about 4 years. So that I thought my experience in the city diplomacy could also contribute to this initiative. Thank you for having me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to remind the panelists, since we are doing simultaneous translation, please speak a little bit slower than usual. Next, I would like to ask Dr. Ilawan.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Iketut Putra Erawan. I'm Executive Director of Institute for Peace and Democracy in Indonesia. The institute is previously think tank of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I worked previously as a special advisor for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia, in charge for democracy and peace promotion. Second one, I'm also lecturer at the Udayana University. My focus of teaching basically on regional subnational government relationship, particularly on issues of development and peace. I was supporting Ministry of Internal Affairs of Indonesia and designing law on central and local government of Indonesia. I'm also international advisor for other university called Warmadewa University. Thank you very much.
Next, I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Xu.
Thank you very much. And my name is Ming Shu. I was born in Shanghai, China, but I have been in Japan for a long time. I started to teach at Waseda since 2008, so almost 17 years has passed. Currently, I'm a professor of international political economy of School of International Liberal Studies, Liberal Arts College at Waseda University. My specialization is East Asian regionalism, regional cooperation. Currently, I'm also working on issues related to international order in East Asia, and I'm looking forward to this panel and our discussion. Thank you very much.
Now, I hope you understand those panelists are well qualified to discuss subnational diplomacy. In Japanese, the Okinawa Prefecture government used Chiki Gaiko as a translation for subnational diplomacy. When they talk about region, Chiki, it's not necessarily like Asia Taiheiyo Chiki, but it's more to do on Chihou Jichitai or Shichouson. Or we also want to expand our definition to include people who are in the region. So that is one footnote with regard to our theme of panel discussion today. As an expert of the panel, we have discussed 4 times since last November, totally about 7 hours. We all shared our experience and shared our ideas, together with trying to learn what Okinawa can offer and what would be the Okinawan specific feature that can be the basis of subnational diplomacy. Today, we would like to share what we have discussed, and in a way, we would like to propose what we have reached. Although we don't have a consensus, we have a variety of opinions, but we would like to share with you what we have discussed in our expert panel meeting. First, I would like to ask each panelist, what do you think of the characteristics of subnational diplomacy? What are the strengths or the potentials, as well as what are the limitations or shortcomings or weaknesses? First, I would like to ask Professor Jain to begin.
Thank you very much. Let me just explain what is subnational government. I mean, Professor Uesugi has already explained. But subnational governments are below the national government. So by definition, they are government. So they run based on taxpayers. It's a taxpayers-funded government. So it's a public entity. That is very important to remember, that anything which subnational governments do, they do on behalf of their residents and their citizens. In terms of what subnational governments, in terms of diplomacy, you might think that this is something very difficult to reconcile, because when we talk about diplomacy, it's normally national government which does diplomacy. But we are talking about subnational diplomacy. But I want to tell you, or you may know, that this is nothing new. This is done across many countries and across continent, in Europe, in America, Australia, where I come from. So many of them, they do these kinds of diplomacy at the municipal or subnational level. Why this has become more important, we have listened to some of the speakers beforehand, that the world situation is becoming quite difficult strategically. Possibilities of wars are happening. So in this context, the role of subnational government becomes even more important. As the ambassador said that, they could be ambassadors for peace, subnational governments. The weaknesses, strengths are that they can do what sometimes national government cannot do. And the weakness is that there are limitations in terms of human resources, sometimes in terms of legal constraints on them, constitutional constraints on them. But still, they are doing a lot of diplomatic work, so to say, both in soft and hard areas. Soft as in educational exchange, hard sometimes they also deal with security issues. We will discuss those points. Thank you very much.
Great. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Lai from Taiwan. Would you discuss with us on this point, please?
Thank you. I think just a compliment to what the Professor Jen already said, subnational diplomacy basically is the local entity to do its independent external engagement work with other nations. But of course, when we talk about diplomacy, the issue in the past always associated with national sovereignties or the sovereignty-related issues. And subnational diplomacy, in this sense, will particularly focus on that region's external interests, whether that's economic, tourism, the cultural or sports and other areas of the cooperations, including the disaster relief and humanitarian assistance attuned to that region's special interest. So the weakness about the subnational diplomacy, in addition to what the Professor Jen has said, is that usually it lacks the national resources and the recognition of the other nations. But the strength about subnational diplomacy is that it could particularly attune to this region's its a particular interest, especially the people its need. And that's become a trend right now. So thank you.
To give more practical analogy of subnational diplomacy, I gave you 3 examples. One is sister city, meaning that one city connected to another cities in another country. Second is mayor forum. Mayor, one countries have interaction and program together with another mayor, or maybe governor forum also. So subnational diplomacy in simple way saying can be stated as an international connection and sharing experiences grounded by lesson learning among local and regional actors, states, society, and community, which is needed or for the regional or local matters. The strength of subnational diplomacy is because it is grounded in experiences, so it can share the really what needed by the community. Second one is the practical. is more grassroots kind of policy oriented. The weakness, as mentioned before, sometimes it cannot be done totally independent because affected by national politics and dynamics. Second weakness, sometimes the issues presented is not covered well by media because media may be more focusing on more broader kind of topics.
Okay, thank you very much. And following our expert panel and other insights you already heard, perhaps from my point of view, and instead of saying that what subnational diplomacy is, one way to understand it is try to say what subnational diplomacy is not. And probably we can say that subnational diplomacy is not national diplomacy. It's different. And it is also not about sovereign issues because it's related to non-sovereign issues. And subnational diplomacy is, because it's not national, it's not about sovereign issues, so that's why it offers, say, multi-track, a different alternative understanding how diplomacy can be conducted in the world. I guess here, when we talk about what's the strengths, what's the weakness of subnational diplomacy, you must say subnational diplomacy is not that formal. It's not that influential as national diplomacy, so it's weakness. You must say that. But on the other hand, precisely because it's not formal, it's kind of more flexible. So this kind of flexibility and the bottom-up information provision is particularly important. I guess here, and our panelists not mentioned this, but Okinawa is particularly suitable to pursue subnational diplomacy from this such an informal or bottom-up perspective. We have discussed this, and of course, Okinawa has its own history. Initially as an independent kingdom, later experiences annexation with Japan, and then has issues related to occupation, battlefield, and today Okinawa is the most heavily militarized prefecture in Japan. So for Okinawa, lots of things, a bottom-up understanding of what it really means to be a people in Okinawa, and how to get this information to be understood by the rest of the world. I guess subnational diplomacy will play a very, very important part, and I guess this is our consensus. Thank you much.
Thank you very much. The panelist has underlined that it is suited to lead by Okinawa Prefecture, and also this is timely in the times of war. So next, I would like to ask each panelist to further discuss what are the significance and strengths of Okinawa taking the lead in subnational diplomacy. In other words, the governor has proposed that we are going to do subnational diplomacy. So we would like to get expert opinions. What will be the significance and strengths of Okinawa? Let me invite Dr. Shu to begin this time.
Okay, I guess maybe there's some overlapping, as we just said, and because we talk about strength. I would say that perhaps Okinawa, and because of its location, is partly related to my own research. I call it perhaps today the borderland experience, given its long history of a borderland between major powers around the world, and today is a borderland between major geopolitical confrontations. And this borderland experience, a borderland location, offers Okinawa particular strengths to understand what this world might facing and the various geopolitical tensions we are kind of confront with. I guess this is offering the strengths for Okinawa to thinking about its special role in subnational diplomacy, in addition to what we have already heard from the early keynote speech from the ambassador. Yeah, that's all. Thank you much.
So in terms of the translation into Japanese, the borderland could be translated into Henkyo, but Henkyo has something negative connotation. So we would like to emphasize this is the kind of connection between different areas. Okinawa is a bridge of different areas. So that's the our meaning of the borderland.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And for this, we talk about borderland. We are not talking about border. Because when you think about border, we think about division. We think about authority. We think about order. But when we're thinking about borderland as space, then this division become communication and mobility. When we're thinking about issues about authority, borderland is offering flexibility and a space of communication. And I guess this is particularly important, as Professor Wesley mentioned, that Okinawa can be a bridge in what we feel that the current situations that we're facing. Yeah, thank you much.
What is the strength of Okinawa land? From my perspective, it will be three main strength. One is it is historical. The historical, because from the battlefield into become a peacemaking and peace building and future peace, that is the strength of Okinawa. Second is geographical, like Professor Hsu mentioned before. It will be a space to connect Asia and to connect Pacific. So geographical, it is so strategic. The last one is the future and now maybe missing leadership. Okinawa can take lead to fill all of the gap of leadership now, because some countries try to focus much more on national interests. Okinawa focus more on connecting between nation and bridging civilization. Is, from my point of view, is the strength we needed now.
I really appreciate your participation here, because we want to make our attempt or initiative of subnational diplomacy not just conducted by some people at the prefectural government, but could be more from the bottom up, so that the people living here can actually appreciate and participate in this kind of effort. Now, with that being said, we would like to continue having a dialogue so that we will understand each other's need and so that we can contribute to the regional peace. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Lai to present, from your point of view as a neighbor of Okinawa, what would be the significance that, or the strengths of Okinawa taking the lead in subnational diplomacy? Please.
Thank you. As you just mentioned, that the Taiwan is particularly interested in what's happening in Okinawa because we are very close neighbors, and whatever happening in Okinawa directly will raise Taiwan's interest, especially from there's a very intense history interconnections. So when we look at the Okinawa initiative about the subnational diplomacy, what we would like to see and what we are eager to learn is that how the Taiwan and Okinawa, the very the bountiful and rich historical past could resurface and to help the understanding between Taiwan and Okinawa. And also Okinawa as a bridge in the whole middle part of the Western Pacific Oceans can have on this initiative to help to bridge the different part of these areas and the different nations. So we're looking forward for this initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I mean, Okinawa is, as we have heard from the three other previous speakers, Okinawa is uniquely placed, in my view, historically and strategically, to conduct subnational diplomacy. One of the main messages, and we have heard from Governor Tamaki and also Director Tamamoto, what Okinawa government is already doing. So my view is that already diplomatic activities are taking place, how to strengthen them and how to make them more effective in those areas so that Okinawa can send a very strong message of peace to the region, around Okinawa, around Japan, and also globally. Coming from Australia, we always hear about Hiroshima and Nagasaki taking initiatives. So I would really wish and hope that the message from Okinawa goes globally, beyond region, of course in the region, but also globally.
Thank you very much. We would be discussing how we begin the initiatives of subnational diplomacy, and you have witnessed a welcome speech by Mr. Im from the NEA, Northeast Asian Regional Association of Local Governments. And Okinawa Prefecture has already joined as an observer. In addition to Okinawa, Niigata, Toyama, Hyogo, Tottori, Shimane, all of them from the Nipponkai area, as well as Kyoto, Aomori, Yamagata, Ishikawa, Fukui, Akita, they become the member of the NEA, as well as Yamaguchi and Miyagi, as well as Okinawa becoming the observer. So that's one existing platform for local government or subnational activities. We also would like to introduce another similar network platform, which is called UCLG ASPAC, United Cities and Local Governments Asia Pacific Branch. This organization has 144 members worldwide. So NEA primarily focusing on Northeast Asia. On the other hand, UCLGs is a global entity. And they have 240,000 local governments are members. They host ASEAN Governor and Mayors Forum. So we were discussing this could be also a useful platform that Okinawa Prefecture government can use. So later on, we will discuss about how Okinawa should go about promoting this subnational diplomacy. But please keep in mind there are a number of existing forums. Now, I would like to move to a discussion what we have discussed in the panel of experts in the past. One proposal we come up with that we need to have annual conference on subnational diplomacy, which can be led by Okinawa Prefecture. Particularly the forum should be focusing on Asia-Pacific regions. And I would like to invite the panelists to share their views on what kind of topics will be appropriate to be discussed in this annual forum. Professor Jain, please.
One of the things I think is we should emphasize shared space and shared future when we are dealing with neighboring countries and also within Japan, because we know the concept of global commons, but I think there are regional commons. This could be maritime management, this would be climate change, this could be sustainability of local producers and so on and so forth. So in my view, we should think very carefully, what are the shared areas where we can cooperate both within Japan and outside of Japan, and how this cooperation can take place, in what form it can take place. It can take place in many ways. I can just give you one example. We could have school-level exchange where we can make those students aware of what are the issues, what are the problems. There could be exchanges between practitioners who really work in those areas as to how together common regional issues can be solved. So that's my main area of suggestion, that there should be across borders cooperation in areas which are shared, common and interests across the border. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Lai, it's yours.
Thank you. And I will just follow what the Professor Jen already put out. basically for the subnational diplomacy or the city diplomacy, one of the focus area for the cooperation is always on the economy and on the tourism and various kind of the cooperation project. Especially for the Okinawa and Taiwan, we both have the experience about the major natural disaster like typhoon, like earthquake. So the disaster relief and humanitarian assistance, and also how to cope with the natural disasters, those are definitely the interests that the people in Taiwan would like to share and learn from our friends in Okinawa. And also believe that the responsible tourism, especially the tourism that connect with the culture and historical memories, that could also be one area that we can work on. So I just just raise off what I have here. Thank you.
From my perspective, because so many available network already there, the focus of Subnational Development Forum for Asia Pacific should be bring up the experiences, the strength of our experiences in Asia Pacific. Two themes, from my perspective, it is needed. One is sustainable development from the perspective of peace. What I mean by perspective of peace is understanding of peace as I call it all peace, meaning that peace among human beings, peace toward nature, and peace toward future. Those three pieces rarely connected, but it's so important from the Okinawa perspective and from Bali perspective. And grounded on that, we need to see sustainable development from the perspective of island-based approach, because Bali, Okinawa, maybe many other areas need to rethink in totality and comprehensiveness as a complete piece. A second one is tourism connected to peace. What we mean by tourism connected peace is peace to ecology, peace to human, peace to the future. Often tourism not really deeply rethinking about the consequences of carrying capacity of tourism toward the future. And from my perspective, from the what kind of tourism we needed should be grounded more than market-oriented, meaning that the consumer consideration only, but much more focused on community, cultural. That kind of tourism, from my perspective, it's much more sustainable. Thank you.
I guess I just follow up and our panel's discussion, and particularly related to tourism. I guess tourism is particularly important for Okinawa economy, and Okinawa depends a lot on economy. But when we arrive at Okinawa, the place we usually go first is the Heiwa Kinen-koin, the Peace Memorial Park. We were fortunate. I guess we went there together yesterday, and it was really impressive. What really happens here in Japan is you might say there's a promotion of what we might call peace tourism. The idea is that we go to the place that once that was torn by war, by conflict, so like Okinawa is a battlefield, like Nagasaki, like Hiroshima was facing the tragedy of the nuclear bomb. So this peace tourism, very important, I guess, allow us to know a lot about what peace really means, and particularly, indeed, at a subnational level. But what we can even promote is try to make this peace tourism beyond the border. This is in relation to what Professor Yuan mentioned earlier, that we have a shared future, but perhaps very important, we have a shared past. This shared past is not always beautiful. And I guess that's one of the reasons that history remains a problem in Northeast Asia. And today, perhaps peace tourism, we talk about linking Okinawa, Nagasaki, and Hiroshima, is still within Japan. Why not? Let's go to other countries in Northeast Asia. And thinking about the Nanjing massacre in Nanjing, thinking about the experience of Gwangju incident in South Korea. We can see that our history is interlinked with each other. And we should promote peace tourism beyond borders. No longer really arguing what's the accurate interpretation of the historical fact, but rather to see that the experience of our past, what does that really mean for each people in each country, and whether or not it's possible to link people together. And in this, I was very delighted to find an early report. There was an initiative from Okinawa government to have this museum, kind of a consortium. I can see that there's a Cambodia genocide museum. I guess it's the problem related to Khmer Rouge experience. There's also issues related to Vietnam War museum. I would say that lots of things is connecting different sub-regional entities in East Asia, not just Northeast Asia, but Southeast Asia together. And if we just promote peace tourism beyond the border and to link countries, sub-national entities across this region, I guess we have a better future to thinking about what we should do and for next stage. That's my 2 cents. Thank you much.
Thank you very much. We emphasize this is a sub-national initiative, different from national initiatives. So when we talk about peace, probably different approach than national government take. So we were focusing these issues and topics as a promising topic that the sub-national entity like Okinawa Prefectural Government can pursue. So now, I would like to ask the panelists, if we were to conduct this annual conference as planned by Okinawa Prefecture Government to invite or host a lot of a conference, what kind of a specific objective should we have in order to make this has a strong, I would say, policy impact toward peace? I would like to ask, maybe starting this time with Professor Xu.
I guess, and in my view, and so what is necessary conditions for, right? Objective, okay.
So what kind of objective or goal should we set for this annual conference?
Okay, I guess, and different, and the topic of an annual conference will propose, the topic will be different, vary from year to year, and perhaps one year we talk about sustainable development, another year we can discuss issues like climate change, so yeah, we can talk about things. But a very important, underlying what we feel that is important to reach a better solution towards peace building in Northeast Asia and beyond is to thinking about, say, information exchange among the supranational entities around this region, and also allow the possibility to building a network and for people to come together beyond the kind of normal constraint of national diplomacy. That's. Yeah.
So we have a number of possible topics to discuss them. Perhaps one of the key objectives is information sharing and exchanges, and maybe every year we can select a different focus or topic or issue. Okay, Professor Irawan, please.
From my view, we have discussed that in 3-4 times on issues of objective. I think we have come to the agreement that the forum should be sustainable and owned by participants, not only by Okinawa, because it is the leading. So how to make the ownership shared? From my perspective, we need to focus on sharing experiences. So learning from each of the countries' local government, what are they doing, what reflecting to my experience supporting Bali Democracy Forum, most of the time we are discussing about problems we cannot solve. So we not say enough, we brave enough to tell our weakness and complexity of issue we face, and ask other participants to share their experiences, why they able to deal with that obstacle. So sharing experiences is not showing the great success of your countries or our countries, but more about we have this problem. Maybe other countries have the same complexity, and how we can deal with that. So that is the second lesson learning. And the policy implementation can also share how to deal with the issues, what is the other complexity will come up with the certain policy making. The third one is collection. The objective of the forum sometimes it able to create initiative collectively and to deal with certain issues which is national government or regional government cannot deal it because it's too sensitive politically, but local government can navigate those by making it much more practical. The last one is, as mentioned, network building, not only about state actors, civil society, but particularly which is media actors. Media actors can sometimes able to easily cross-bordering the issues and make it become own collectively at regional level. So that's my thinking.
Thank you very much. The ambassador was mentioning about the conference of the people of Okinawa, for the people of Okinawa, by the people of Okinawa. But Dr. Irawan emphasized other participating kind of actors also feel that this conference should be for them. They can learn from other experiences or they can share their lessons. So that's, I think, important point. And also, he mentioned about when we talk about subnational conference, we are not limiting just to mayors and governors, but probably the media can play a very important role. So next, I would like to ask Dr. Lai, what will be your proposals or suggestion in terms of the objective as well as who can be invited to take part in this approach? Thank you.
Thank you. I would say that from Taiwan's and my point of view is that since Taiwan and Okinawa we share the need to counter the issue about natural disasters such as the earthquake as well as the typhoon. So the cooperation and also experience exchange as well as the lesson learned between Taiwan and Okinawa about those definitely that will be very much welcome. So and we can broaden this to other area of the non-traditional security issues that both Taiwan and Okinawa were island nations, so that we could work together to face the challenge. And in terms of the participants, I personally will say that definitely the local Okinawa prefecture government needs to take the lead because it has the resources and it needs to own this process. But we should not just limit it, the participants to the local government. The other people like local NGOs, the students, educations, practitioners, as well as the business side. They are all part of this process, and they need to be incorporated. So those are my suggestions. Thank you.
We very often in diplomacy, we hear national interests. That's the key word in diplomacy, national interests. But when we talk about subnational diplomacy, we need to be cognizant or take into account local interests. So local interest is the key driving factor as the objective of any interaction or any conference which we hold. And that should create some kind of trust buildings as objective. So whoever we invite, the idea would be to have exchange of ideas, exchange of views, but also create some kind of trust between governments or between civil society of each participating countries. In terms of who should participate, I have got a very strong view that because this is local interest, Okinawa driven, there should be a strong local community participation. And when I say local community, my fellow colleagues have talked about, NGOs, business groups, agriculture groups. All those groups should be part of this process because any initiative which the local government, in this case Okinawa government, takes, it must resonate with the residents of Okinawa, because I think it's very important to recognize, which I mentioned in the beginning, that this is public funds are used. So it has to be in local interest, which serves the interests of Okinawa people, but also in a way that involves neighboring countries or other nations where we can have like-minded interaction of our ideas and exchange our views. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sometimes national interest and local interest can overlap. At the same time, sometimes local interest and national interest cannot be the same. So as our proposal, perhaps we need to focus more on what are the local interests. And to do that, maybe Okinawa Prefecture government needs to listen to the voices of their people so that we can define what are the local interests. In order to launch this kind of initiative and make it sustainable, we need to think about many things. And I would like them ask an expert, what are the necessary conditions for successful implementation of such a proposal? So I would like to seek your advice how to make it sustainable. Maybe I will invite, okay, you can start. Okay.
Thank you. I think we have talked about wider community participation. That is very important. But at the same time, I would think that horizontal networking is very important to make it successful. What I mean by horizontal networking, that connections or connecting other Japanese prefectures and municipalities. Because lots of other Japanese prefectures and municipalities, they also conduct their own diplomacy. So there has to be an exchange, not just between Okinawa and other countries, neighboring countries, but the exchange between Okinawa prefecture, what it is trying to achieve, and connecting with other prefectures and municipalities or local governments in Japan, I think are very, very important, so that Okinawa can communicate its initiative and then get some feedback from what other localities are doing, so that there could be some kind of synergy between different kinds of local entities within Japan and outside of Japan. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Lai. What would be the necessary conditions for successful implementation?
I believe that right now it seems that we are gearing toward having an annual symposium for specific purposes. If that is the case, then I would personally like to see that the driving forces, the central entity driving forces, that will be the necessary condition for the successful implementation of this initiative. In this sense, I would like to see that the Okinawa Prefecture government to take a strong lead on this process and drive these things forward. Because for all the participants, all other invitations and engagement with other entities, if there is no central figures to drive these things, then it'll be very difficult to sustain. So personally, I would like to see a very strong leadership from the Okinawan Prefecture government. But of course, this process also need to invite the local people from the Okinawa. So the Okinawan, the ownership of this process is necessary. And I think that if this has been established, then the other things about the prosperity, how this will spill over to other areas in terms of cooperation, that will naturally follow. And so I would like to emphasize the central leadership, which is the Okinawan government. That is a key to the success.
Thanks. Okay, next, Professor Xu.
From my perspective, I was thinking as a subnational forum for annual conference, this should be inclusive in the sense that people from different backgrounds, they should be able to participate. In particular, I feel that young people, students, like some of you are here in this very room, also academics. I myself is one part of it. I think most of us parents are academic, and also civil society, NGOs, and we might bring, say, a more inclusive framework might bring people more diversified viewpoints and perspectives to allow more less politically charged, more intense, more practical discussion. That's what I hope could be achieved through this process, and I guess that's a necessary condition to make this annual forum a success. Thank you much.
One necessary condition for the success of the forum itself is institutionalized processes, meaning agenda setting, programmatic design and implementation, evaluation and feedback. This institutionalized process need institution. So necessary condition for the success of the forum is establishment of think tank. To support that, I think the think tank should get clear mandates from the Okinawa government and also sustained support. I think we will discuss more deeply about that issues. Thank you.
So we first come up with a kind of a consensus that annually Okinawa Prefecture government should take the lead in conducting a conference on subnational diplomacy-related topic. But in order to make that sustainable, we also reach a kind of consensus that we need to institutionalize such an initiative, and which can be done by establishing a think tank. And I also find out that one of the Okinawa Prefecture government policy, they have a plan to establish a think tank. So we thought perhaps Okinawa Prefecture government can take the lead in institutionalizing such an idea by creating a think tank. So the next topic that we would like to discuss and share with you is what kind of think tank do we need in order to make this sustainable, this subnational diplomacy initiative sustainable. So first, because of his experience establishing and leading institutes for peace and democracy, I would like to ask Dr. Irawan to start with what kind of a mission do we need to give to a particular think tank?
The mission for this think tank, I think, are four. The first one is should be aimed to make the forum success. So design the program, make activities, and also conduct and implement, evaluate, engage. Those are the first one, sustain the forum. Second, train human resources, enabling the think tank develop, expanded further, because the think tank, it will be year to year will gain significance and broader network. So it's need human resources, expertise, and many things. The third, which is, as I mentioned before, because the ownership of the forum and the think tank itself is expanded now, we need to make sure that there is activities enabling ownership of the activities owned by many other countries also. That make the sustainable in terms of resources also, not only in terms of the program. The last one is the think tank should be able to connect their activities into the policy reports inspiring, because we need to make sure that, because think of the tank should be end up in the people need through the policy. That's those for mission, I think.
Thank you very much. The next I would like to ask Dr. Lai, because of his experienced city-to-city exchanges practitioner, as well as now he's leading a think tank in Taiwan. So based on his experience, I would like to ask Dr. Lai to share his views.
Thank you. And I draw precisely from my experience as the Director for External Engagement out of Taichung City in conducting the city diplomacies. The weakness at that time I found out is that precisely because we do not have a think tank for us to think about the process, so that every time when we conducted a subnational diplomacy, it's very much ad hoc. We based on the event at hand to devise what our objective about the participations. So in order to remedy this weakness, I personally believe that if Okinawa Prefecture government decided that they need to create a forum for the subnational diplomacy, then a think tank is necessary, not only to help to bring out about the ideas, to explore about the new initiative, but also the think tank is a perfect institution to restore the institutional memory about each and individual forum, what the results, what are the major takeaway, and what were the lessons that we learned. And the think tank could also be a very good vehicle in education about the expertise that the people started to have when the forum started to conduct for a number of years. That you need people and that you need to train experts who are familiar with the subnational diplomacy. And subnational diplomacy is still a young and promising area, which means that not a lot of experts has actually emerged. So that the think tank will be a perfect vehicles and the venue for the Okinawa Prefecture government to breed the new generation of the experts and help to facilitate and to improve this diplomacy that they want to conduct in the future. Thank you.
I think it is very important that institutional memory is kept in the think tank or as a knowledge database or data bank so that sustainability can be maintained. Okay, now I would like to invite Professor Jain.
Thank you. I think lots of things have been said, and I agree with almost most of them. I guess to establish a think tank, if we go that way, there has to be a clear terms of reference, what its objectives are. And I believe that because this is kind of Okinawa prefectural government led initiative, so central leadership we have been talking about, institutionalization, continuity, but the idea would be to drive the vision, a statement of the Okinawa government as to what is their vision about local diplomacy, what do they want to achieve. If that is clear, then of course this think tank can take those objectives into its consideration and then move forward from that. So for example, like it could be peace, it could be sustainability, it could be inclusivity. So there are lots of things. But the point is that once such a think tank is established there, it has to run a little bit in an autonomous fashion so that there could be some bottom-up advice and bottom-up suggestions and recommendations, and then there will be a kind of, the Okinawa government and the peace think tank can talk to each other and see what are the points which is feasible, possible to take those points and issues forward.
I guess our panelists have already said quite a lot and about the mission and suitable for this think tank. But I just wanted to give that into a context. We have proposed an annual conference on various issues maybe of interest to subnational entities. A think tank is trying to bring this annual event into a, if not permanent, maybe semi-permanent kind of process. Or putting another way, subnational diplomacy can be considered as a vision, as a policy, but a think tank will translate that into a practice, activities, which will be sustainable and will have a long-term basis. I guess this is what we are proposing. When we come to the actual, basically, maybe we're thinking about various aspects of institutional base of a think tank, maybe bring more in-house researchers, in-house, say, staff, and it's bring people as protectionists and from various areas. I guess this could all be the mission, and we hope that will allow subnational diplomacy to become a, say, long-term sustainable practice, not just a vision or policy, which people might forget or in a few years' time. Yeah, thank you.
About 20-some years ago, I tried to launch a think tank in Okinawa, and I found that one of the most challenging things is to get sufficient financial and human resources. Without them, it's only a picture of rice cake. So you cannot eat it. So I would like to now turn how we can secure enough resources. I would like to get your advice or suggestions. Dr. Shu, can you start?
As we just heard, and Professor Wesini from his own experience, and I was amazed by the fact that in think tank you established 20 years ago, still working and have even more kind of importance and to Okinawa and beyond. I would say that funding very, very important. Funding from the government Okinawa government is particularly of importance because it's an initiative from the subnational government. But on the other hand, I would say that funding is beyond the government to make this think tank, say, politically active, but policy and in terms of agenda ensures neutrality. I would say that funding sources beyond the government, from other sources like foundations and either private or other, say, transnational, will be important. So I guess when it comes to resources, try to secure fundings from non-partisan basis will be very, very important aspect. Yeah. Stop.
Thank you. Since you have got this experience of establishing a think tank in Okinawa, who is better than you to talk about these things, but let me give you some of my thoughts. I mean, it's very important that since this is the Okinawa prefectural government initiative, the initial funding has to come from the Okinawa prefectural government. And I know the governor is very focused on this. He feels strongly about it. So I think the first lot of funding has to be from the Okinawa prefectural government. Then we can explore together, or you can explore what are other foundations, whether there are national government bodies such as JICA, Foreign Ministry, because we heard from the ambassador that the Foreign Ministry will be very happy to cooperate with initiatives that Okinawa takes. So I think there are various ways of exploring further financial resources, including foundations, corporations based in Okinawa, because it's in their interest as well that these initiatives are taken so that Okinawa is put on the regional and global map for their own business. That is very good, I think. But in terms of also resources, we need human resources, right? Researchers. Of course, you can have researchers from outside of Okinawa, but I was thinking you have got universities here. So we met a professor yesterday who works on subnational or Okinawa government policy. So you can have adjunct researchers to this think tank, and they can, on a continuous basis, they can contribute to writing papers, publishing them. So intellectual resources could be locally also, could be cultivated. It's very important that we have local participation, local academics, local people who are based in Okinawa, and researching this area, so that's very, very important. Yeah, that's it, I think, for me.
One challenge is that if you get funding from the prefectural government, and then how can you maintain your activities political neutral? That's one challenge. If you have another funding sources, probably we can balance it. Also, finding a right person who can actually manage this think tank is a challenge, and probably linking up with universities in Okinawa can be a good idea. Now I would like to move to the next topic. Whether or not Okinawa Prefecture should take the lead and conduct these initiatives by themselves, of course with the support of partners, regional partners, or should Okinawa Prefecture government try to utilize existing regional platforms such as NIA or UCLJ ASPAC. I would like to ask each panelist what would be the pros and cons of utilizing existing platform as well as taking Okinawa-led initiatives. First, I would like to invite Dr. Irawan to talk about this point.
First is about what the pro and cons of using existing platform. Using the existing platform, I think the problem is that the platform has their own agenda, and sometimes the agenda is not subnational, so it could be miss. If we emphasize that the using that agenda, it will be not fit. Second one is existing agenda most of time are much more broader than the specific focus we want to emphasize, and then the existing agenda sometimes existing platforms sometimes have their own politics and complication. So bringing this initiative into that can be complicated. What about the creating own platform? The problem is that particularly in the first 3 or 5 years of the platform itself, it could be one of the most challenging. My thinking is that if we able to also connect with the international or regional diplomatic groups, sometimes many countries want to interact with this kind of initiative. So many donors country maybe want to support certain initiative. Also many foundation, like mentioned before, which is focusing on peace and development, and the needs of subnational element could be catered, because this initiative basically combining those 3 network and initiative. We can emphasize each of the support system on this, and whether we can able to bring it to support what Okinawa Prefecture initially want to support. And also civil society, sometimes they has their own network to begin with. So now that's another option.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to hear from Dr. Lai. I believe you have emphasized the importance of Okinawa-led initiatives. So could you share your views on this?
Yeah, thank you. And I think previous speaker has summarized succinctly that embedding an existing framework, although that gave you immediate access to the external engagement with other cities, other entities, but that also means that probably they have their own agenda that fully ally with yours. So I personally would like to advocate for a Okinawa initiative, Okinawa own process, independent of the already existing platform. Create your own from the scratch. In a process that you could have the identity about what this city diplomacy and subnational diplomacy should be, the emphasis about the point that you like to have, and also the uniqueness you like to present. And that, in my view, will present Okinawa in a very different format and different identities that will stand out and probably will fit the need for the Northeast Asia in particular for the subnational diplomacy. Thank you.
So we will have to keep discussing and finding out which approach is better suited to realize Okinawan's view. Next, maybe the final topic will be what's the next step? And there are a number of things in order to launch these kind of initiatives. So I would like to ask each panelist, what do you think will be the next step that Okinawa Prefecture government should take? First, I would like to invite Professor Jain.
Okay. I'm a strong advocate of brand Okinawa. It should be by Okinawa, and we should not dilute the agenda of Okinawa by trying to collaborate with other organizations, especially if they are international. As Professor Irwan has said, that they have their own agenda, they will pursue their own agenda, so it's better that brand Okinawa is maintained as to what kind of message Okinawa wants to give to the region and to the world. In order to do that, I have been talking during our various online meetings that there has to be a strategic paper. And this strategic paper needs to be clearly written with timeline, aims, objectives, missions. We have talked about these things, what they could be possibly, but since this is Okinawa driven, finally, this has to come from the Okinawa Prefectural Government Office and from the Governor's Office. And I cannot just emphasize enough that we would need Okinawa's resources. So first of all, after we know what are the objectives and missions and timeline, how to implement them, etc., it's very important that then Okinawa government thinks in terms of how this strategy could be implemented. And when I say strategy, it should not be just 1-2 year based on annual budget cycle, but it has to be some kind of middle range, a strategic paper for the next 3 to 5 years at least, as to what they want to achieve. And accordingly, resources have to be available through the Okinawa Prefectural Government. Without that, it will be rather very difficult to implement this. But I also have some words of caution here. We should not be extra ambitious. We should have some very practical ideas and aims and objectives which can be delivered or deliverable. Just slogans may not be enough because people, sometimes residents, don't like too many slogans and not actualized and implemented. So it has to develop in an organic fashion in the next 2 or 3 years and then build on that. So that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Professor Xu.
Thank you much. And following the discussion we just heard, and we should be less ambitious, and especially at the beginning, I would like to propose that we establish a, youth ambassador program and focus on peace promotion. Particularly, this could bring, say, young people like students and in different schools. We heard earlier that the keynote speech from Ambassador Miyakawa, and he mentioned that Okinawa is organizing this youth program and bring them to Washington, D.C. to understand how what Okinawa might place itself in today's United States. But I think this is equally important here in East Asia, how Okinawan people and consider themselves not as just from Okinawa, but also Okinawa within East Asia. So a youth program bring Okinawa students, young people, and to other part of East Asia. In particular, I guess Okinawa government has a representative office, for example, in China, in Beijing, in Shanghai, in Fujian, and also other offices. This can be used to contact the local government, the counterparts, to invite them to send their own youth ambassador to Okinawa. So make this exchange. And I guess this could be a low initial cost, a low obstacle, and a proposal we can proceed from the beginning. But of course, our ambition is higher. So probably other panelists will give you more ambitious proposal. Thank you much.
What next? First, create the forum. Second, create the think tank. Third, peace is a noble objective to pursue for both Okinawa and Asia Pacific. We will be always with you.
Dr. Lai, I would like to hear your views, and please encourage us to undertake this novel mission.
Yeah, thank you. I think my view, of course, is precisely as earlier speaker said, that first having a successful forum and associate with it, create a think tank to sustain this forum and to strategize this forum. The strategic paper can come through the think tank's works, especially after 1 or 2 years of the experiment. Then the realistic approach, how the strategic paper could be designed, and that naturally will come out. And the whole thing is that we had to be less ambitious, and the forum itself, first, let's make it that to ensure that each participant, when they participate in this forum, they got to know something new. They got to know something that they didn't know in the past, so that they will feel that they have a stake, they have a learning process in this forum. So in this, I will say that from Taiwan participants, we particularly like to know more about the past very intensive engagement between Taiwan and various parts of Okinawa. Especially during the Taiwan was part of Japan, we have a tremendous inflow of the Okinawan people come to Taiwan and settle here in Taiwan. So we'd like to know that historical development and the facts, because that also can enrich the history of Taiwan itself. Thank you very much.
Because we will be concluding this panel discussion soon, I would like to ask Dr. Lai to give a message to the audience who are people, residents in Okinawa. What do you expect the people of Okinawa to engage in the proposed action?
I myself, I will say that I like to encourage the people in Okinawa to really think that, first of all, you are not the periphery of Japan. You could be center of your own. And this is the dual process. And Okinawa has historically been a very important part of the bridge to all area in East Asia, including Taiwan. So that we would really eager to know how the Okinawa would like to see its own role, is also how you see Taiwan in your own development. And we'd like to see that how this could go on, and particularly for Taiwan-Okinawa relations. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with what Dr. Lai has said, but I just thought I can turn this question on its head and just ask this question. What are the expectations of the residents of Okinawa from such a forum and what we are proposing here. So I would request you, I think there is a, your survey. So on your way out, you must fill out that survey and tell us your honest view, what we have been discussing. That will help the Okinawa prefectural government and us actually to know what exactly are you feeling, what are your thoughts. Because we saw in the audience one person was really upset for some reason. So that's why it's very important for us to know. But of course, we would, as panelists, would encourage you to support this. We think it's a very good initiative, and Okinawa is very well placed to take such an initiative in a way which will serve the interests of just not Okinawa government, but its residents and the wider regional community, Japan in general, and region in particular. So thank you very much.
Message for people in Okinawa. That's tough. Please own the forum and support the think tank. And please engage in making peace as a strategic agenda for Japan and for Asia Pacific.
Yeah, last one again, talk about a word to Okinawa. And I still remember maybe 1.5 years ago, and Professor Wilson sent me an email and asked whether or not I might be interested in this. I guess we all tasked to make a more concrete proposal or concrete ideas which might promote subnational diplomacy and in Okinawa. What we have done, I guess, is a proposal. It sounds bring lots of things together. It is quite ambitious, but precisely because there's so many challenges, to realize this vision, and so we wanted to be ambitious in a way that to promote this. But on the other hand, I would say that our proposal is also modest in the sense that we know that some of our proposal won't be realized immediately, and but fortunately we have the officials and sitting here and giving us, listening to us, and we also have the audience, especially students and the rest of the society, and coming and to listening to us. So I guess that we're facing lots of challenges. We are ambitious, but we are also modest. And indeed, when we discuss various things, not all the panelists share the same thing, and we have disagreement among ourselves, as you can imagine, as any discussion it could be, any committee could be. But I would say that this is what we like to present to you as our product. This year is 2025, the 80 years anniversary of the end of the Second World War. And we are somehow 80 years behind what's a tragedy which bring everything in this part of the region into a chaotic situation. And I hope we won't wait for another 80 years to come back to say that our modest proposal is actually help to promote peace and the prosperity and the stability here in Northeast Asia and beyond. Thank you much.
Thank you very much. 20-some years ago, I came to Okinawa wishing that I can contribute to peace. And I'm really happy that this subnational diplomacy can actually be proposed by Okinawa prefectural government to engage in the regional peace building. Of course, national government emphasize importance of deterrence, and perhaps from the point of view of safety of the people in Okinawa, you may need to do some exercise to do evacuation and so on and so forth. But we should not just sit and wait what the national government are doing. We need to take the lead in order to prevent the war from happening. And I do believe diplomacy is the key, and diplomacy should not be occupied or taken only by national government. We as a citizen should take the lead in diplomacy. And our goal is, like today's symposium title, Easing Tensions, Building Trust. And I'm also very much happy to report to you that our project also suggesting the collaboration with the Peace Museum in Cambodia, Vietnam, and the Philippines, and that could be a good initiative for the subnational diplomacy. As well, the Okinawa Prefecture Peace Memorial Museum has been undertaking a project called Heiwa e no Umi, in which they invite students coming from Cambodia, Vietnam, Taiwan, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and South Korea for the student level exchanges. So there are a number of work already undertaken. So we would like to consolidate and then strengthen the effort already conducted. And today I am very much thankful for all the expert views and suggestions based on their own knowledge and experience, as well as your participation and willingness to take part in this initiative. Thank you very much.
パネリストの皆様、貴重な知見を共有いただき、そして素晴らしいご提案をいただき、ありがとうございました。来場の皆様、今一度パネリストの皆様に温かい拍手をお願いいたします。皆様、どうぞご講談ください。それでは、閉会の挨拶に移ります。沖縄県知事公室地域外交統括官、小戸悟より閉会の挨拶をいたします。小戸統括官、よろしくお願いいたします。
本日はお忙しい中、地域外交シンポジウムへご来場いただきありがとうございます。また、ご祝辞およびご登壇いただきました皆様に改めて感謝申し上げます。本日のシンポジウムでは、パネリストの皆様から地域外交に関する年次フォーラムの開催や、シンクタンク機関の設立など、さまざまなご意見、ご提案をいただくことができ、大変有意義なシンポジウムであったと感じております。いただいたご意見等を参考に、今後もアジア太平洋地域の緊張緩和と信頼醸成に寄与するため、地域外交を推進してまいりたいと考えております。また、本日ご来場いただきました皆様におかれましては、本シンポジウムを通して、アジア太平洋地域の平和構築や相互発展に寄与する国際交流、国際協力等の取り組みに関心をお寄せいただき、その意義や重要性について考えていただく機会になれば幸いです。結びに皆様のますますのご健勝とご活躍を記念いたしまして、閉会の挨拶といたします。本日はありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。本日は地域外交シンポジウムアジア太平洋地域の緊張緩和と信頼醸成における地域外交の役割においでいただき、誠にありがとうございました。ご来場の皆様、本シンポジウムはこれにて終了となります。本日のご来場、誠にありがとうございました。皆様、お気をつけてお帰りください。